All right. Getting ready for a tanning technician interview, huh? Well, you've come to the right place. We've got a deep dive prep just for you using RoleCatcher's insights.
Their career guide and interview guide are amazing.
Yeah, they're seriously about to be your secret weapons. They've really broken down this role.
In a way that's really practical. It's not just about getting the job, right?
Certainly not.
It's about you walking into that interview confident, ready to show off your skills, understanding the entire leather production process.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The career guide, it mentions beam house a few times. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm picturing like a rustic cabin with beams of sunlight streaming in.
Right, not quite what I'd expect in a tannery.
Not quite the right image.
No. Beam house, it actually refers to the very first stage of leather processing. So we're talking raw hides, prepping them, treating them. It's like setting the stage for everything else that's going to happen.
Oh, okay, so it all starts there. From beam house,
Yeah.
then it's on to the actual tanning, post-tanning, finishing, the whole journey for the leather.
It's a process, a whole journey. And throughout it all, employers, they're laser focused on two things: quality and sustainability,
Okay.
which is a big theme in the career guide, by the way. Keep that in mind for your interview.
Got it. Sustainability is key. Now, RoleCatcher, they provided us with 10 common interview questions for tanning technicians. Let's dive into a few, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. First up, what inspired you to pursue a career as a tanning technician? Now, I know it's not just about saying, I like working with leather.
Right. It's about passion. Think about what really drew you to this field. Maybe you're fascinated by the science behind transforming raw hides into durable leather.
Oh, that's cool.
Or maybe you love that challenge, mastering those traditional tanning techniques.
Yeah.
But also embracing those modern, eco-friendly practices.
That's a great point. The career guide, it actually mentions several innovative tanning methods that are all about minimizing environmental impact. Mentioning those in an interview, that could really make an impression, don't you think?
Absolutely. It shows you're not just looking for a job, you're invested in the future of the industry.
You're thinking long term.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another question. How do you ensure that you provide safe and effective tanning services to your clients?
This is where you get to showcase your knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
All about those safety protocols, those quality standards.
So, like, knowing the ins and outs of handling chemicals safely, or the different types of tanning agents and what they're each best for.
Exactly. This is your chance to let that technical knowledge shine. You could even mention a specific type of leather and the treatment process it requires.
Well, I like that.
Like, I'm really interested in working with vegetable tanned leather because...
Showcasing that expertise. And this is actually where RoleCatcher's AI, it can really come in handy, right? I remember reading something about it, analyzing your answers, suggesting improvements.
Yeah, it's amazing. It can help you tailor your responses, make sure they have maximum impact. It can even suggest some industry-specific terms you might use.
Oh, interesting.
Like, instead of just saying smooth leather, you could say nubuck, for example. Shows you're really in the know, you know?
Okay, that's huge. It's like having a tanning expert fine-tuning your answers.
Exactly.
All right, next question, and this one's a big one. Can you describe a time when you had to handle a difficult client? Because let's be real, those situations are bound to come up in any client-facing role, right?
Absolutely. And remember, it's not about throwing anyone under the bus, right? It's about showcasing your problem-solving skills, your professionalism.
So instead of saying, this one client was impossible.
Yeah, don't do that. Frame it as a challenge that you successfully navigated. Like, I once had a client who was worried about the color consistency of their leather goods.
Okay.
So I listened to their concerns, I carefully examined the pieces, and I explained the natural variations that can occur. Something like that.
And then you'd explain what you did, how you worked towards a resolution.
Exactly. And, you know, speaking of RoleCatcher's AI, it can be a game changer for crafting those nuanced responses.
Oh, for this question too. How so?
Imagine you've just told your difficult client story, right? You run it through the AI and maybe get feedback like, okay, good start. But what if you emphasized the specific steps you took to de-escalate that situation? You know, really showcasing your composure under pressure.
Nice.
It's like having a personal coach in your back pocket, just fine-tuning your delivery.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, ready for the next question?
Absolutely, hit me.
All right, here's one that feels pretty relevant these days. How do you stay up to date with the latest tanning techniques and products?
Ooh, that's a good one. The tanning industry is always changing.
Always evolving in.
Especially now with this big push for more sustainable practices. So this is your chance to shine. Show them you're not stuck in the past. You're eager to learn and grow.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I read industry magazines, which, let's be honest,
Yeah.
what are some things that would really impress an interviewer?
Get specific, maybe you just went to a webinar on chrome-free tanning, or you're part of this online forum where tanning professionals are all sharing the latest research on, like, eco-friendly dyes.
Oh, that's a good one. Showing that you're actively seeking out knowledge, not just waiting for it to come to you.
Exactly. You could even name drop a specific industry publication, like, oh yeah, I keep up with World Leather, or Leather International is my go-to. Show them you're plugged in.
That you're in the loop.
Yes.
It's all about showing that commitment to always learning, right?
Yeah.
To professional development.
Absolutely. Now, this next one might seem a little tricky. How do you handle a situation where a client is not satisfied with their tan?
Ooh, yeah. That's a tough one, especially if you're confident in your work and you believe in what you did.
It happens. It's all about how you navigate those situations, with grace and professionalism, of course. Remember, even the most skilled tanning technician, sometimes a client's vision, it just doesn't line up with the final product.
Sure, it happens.
Yes. It's life.
So what's the best approach, you think?
Active listening is key. That's huge. Really hear their concerns without getting defensive.
Right.
And then try to pinpoint what the issue really is. Are they unhappy with the color, the finish, the actual feel of the leather? You need to get to the bottom of it.
And once you pinpoint that issue,
Then you can explore solutions, right? Maybe you offer to rework the leather, adjust the tanning process next time, or even just provide a more detailed explanation of why the leather looks the way it does. Sometimes it's just about communication, honestly.
That's so true. It's interesting you say that because I was just thinking about RoleCatcher's Career Compass tool, and it really emphasizes communication skills for tanning technicians. It makes it clear that it's really important.
Makes total sense. Because you're not just working with leather all day. It's people, too, Clients, suppliers, colleagues. Being able to communicate clearly, that's everything.
Yeah, I got to be able to talk to people. I love how RoleCatcher kind of connects those dots, showing how different skills, they all play a role in building a really successful career. Okay, what's next on our list of, tough interview questions?
Let's talk about multitasking. So the question is, can you describe a time when you had to multitask, manage multiple clients at once?
Okay, that sounds like a typical day for a tanning technician.
Right. It's fast-paced, you're juggling projects, deadlines. This is your time to show that you can handle it all.
So what kind of example would really illustrate those multitasking skills?
Think of a time when maybe you were overseeing the tanning process for different types of leather all at the same time. Maybe one client needs a rush order, while another one, they need something more intricate, a really time-consuming treatment.
And you managed to handle it all, kept all those balls in the air without sacrificing quality.
Exactly. And make sure you highlight how you prioritize tasks. Maybe you delegated some things when you needed to, and how you kept everyone in the loop. Clear communication, super important. It all shows you're organized, efficient, and you can handle a demanding workload, all that good stuff.
Speaking of pressure, what about this one? How do you handle a situation where a client is, let's just say, not following safety guidelines during the tanning process?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other level of multitasking, right? Managing people and their, shall we say, enthusiasm.
It's a really important question because, bottom line, safety is non-negotiable. So this is your chance to show that you're firm but fair. You can advocate for safety without, scaring the client away.
Right. So instead of being like, hey, put on your gloves, those are the rules.
Right.
How do you approach it a little more, diplomatically?
You could say something like, I totally get it. You're excited to see the process up close. I'm happy to walk you through it. But for everyone's safety, we really need to wear the proper protective gear, especially in this area.
So it's about explaining the why behind the rules, not just, laying down the law.
Exactly. You can even share a quick story, a time you dealt with a similar situation successfully. Makes your answer more real, more relatable.
Which, by the way, is something RoleCatcher's AI feedback can help with, right? Crafting those real-life examples, making them really shine.
Totally. The AI can look at your story, suggest ways to make it even more impactful. Like, instead of just saying you explain the rules, maybe you describe the client's reaction. Your approach helped them feel heard and respected.
Wow, it's like having a personal interview coach, just whispering all the right things in your ear. Okay, I think we have time for one last question from RoleCatcher's list. What do you have for us?
All right, bringing it home with this one. Can you describe a time when you had to work with a difficult colleague? A classic interview question for a reason. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah, you can love letter all you want, but at the end of the day, you're going to be interacting with humans, no way around it.
For sure. And this question, it's not about bad-mouthing anyone, right? It's about showing you can handle those tricky work relationships. You've got to be professional and mature about it.
So what kind of example would work well here? What do you think?
Pick a situation, something that was definitely challenging, but you were able to resolve it in the end. Maybe you and a coworker disagreed on the best way to treat a certain leather, or there was a miscommunication that really slowed things down.
And then what? You focus on how you fixed it.
Exactly. Did you talk it out, listen to their side of things, find a compromise? That's what they want to hear about, those actions you took.
And I'm sure RoleCatcher's AI, it can step in here too, right?
Yeah.
Provide that extra layer of feedback, make sure you're really showing how you handled things effectively.
100%. The AI can help you spot anything that might raise a red flag in your story. For example, maybe you accidentally come off like the hero and your coworker is the villain. The
Yeah.
AI, it can pick up on those little nuances and suggest ways to make it more balanced and fair. That's so helpful. It's like having an objective third party just giving you the honest truth about how your story might come across.
Exactly. You want to put your best foot forward, show them you can work well with others, even when things get a little bumpy.
This has been awesome. I feel like we've covered so much, from those tough interview questions to role catchers, seriously cool AI tools. Anyone listening is going to walk into that tanning technician interview feeling super prepared.
Totally agree. And remember, this isn't about memorizing answers. It's about understanding what they're really asking and then showing off your own skills and that passion that you have.
And speaking of passion, don't forget that sustainability piece. Remember what we talked about earlier? It's a big deal in the tanning industry. Weaving that knowledge into your answers, it shows you're thinking about the future.
Absolutely. Demonstrating that you're forward-thinking, you care about the environment, all of that, it can really set you apart from the crowd. All right, everyone listening, take this knowledge, rock that interview, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one changing the tanning industry with your commitment to sustainability and beautiful craftsmanship.
And hey, RoleCatcher is there for you every step of the way. From crafting the perfect resume to acing those interviews, they've got you covered.
And on that note, it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive. Good luck out there. We're rooting for you.